Hello, my name is Linda McAnany, and welcome to my show. My guest today is Dr. Jill Brady. Jill is a veterinarian at the Westside Veterinary Clinic here in Jefferson City. Jill's been on before, but every time she's on, I'm fascinated with all the things we talk about, none of which I usually know anything about. So Jill, thanks for joining me and being so patient with me as well.
I'm happy to do it.
Jill, you recently attended training on animal acupuncture, and when you told me about it, I was fascinated. What is, first of all, I'm going to ask those semi-intelligent questions. What is acupuncture, and what does it do, and is it the same as with humans?
Yes, it is. It's similar to humans. The way we perform it is the same. The points that we use are different, are based on animals and in each species also. But acupuncture is the use of needles, very small, thin needles, to change the energy or the electrical impulses in the body to help do different things depending on what you need it to do. I'm doing training at the International Veterinary Acupuncture Society, and when I'm done, I'll be certified to treat pets for many different conditions. I understand Dr. Link here in town also does acupuncture on humans, and so I've been over to his place to see how they do it, and it's pretty much the same as what we do. Yes, it is very fascinating.
Now, under what circumstances would a pet benefit from acupuncture?
Right. Probably the most common thing that we see is conditions involving pain. So that can be anything from arthritis to surgery to physical therapy. It's very good at handling and blocking pain, which they've found is key for people and for animals in the healing process. So again, probably I would say my understanding is about 75% of the cases that we see will involve pain. We also deal with, again, rehabilitation, so performance animals, things like that. We help them recover from that. But we can also treat things that maybe the Western medicine doesn't treat so well, or it fills in the gaps where Western medicine can't do things. So it works very well for inflammatory bowel disease in animals. Works very well for teeth problems, mouth problems. I'm learning every day more and more about what it can and can't do.
Can you share a story of what you've seen?
Yeah, I sure can. My very first case, and this happened right after I attended my first class, was a kitten that was attacked by a dog. Oh, wow. And he had some pretty severe injuries. The lasting ones were he lost function in both of his back legs. So he was paralyzed in his back end, kind of from the hips down. One leg he had a little bit of function, and the other one not very much.
And this was a kitten?
And this was a kitten. This was about an 8-week-old kitten as far as we could tell. And I had just returned from my first class, and Dr. Patton said to me, well, why don't you try treating that kitten? And I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I know I can figure out the points and I can do this. And they encouraged us to go ahead and start. And so I spoke with the owner and I said, I think this might help. I think it's probably the best option that we have. And so we started doing treatments. And we treated him 6 times. And the last time he was in, he was walking. He had full function of one of his back legs, and he was getting enough function in the other leg that it didn't look like we would have to amputate or do anything like that. And I think it will continue to improve.
Now, those treatments took place over 6-month period?
Over a period of about 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
We did a few treatments 2 times a week initially, and then we kind of had to go between my schedule, between class and work and their schedule, but in the end it was about six treatments. And
that's amazing.
He's doing
great. You know,
great.
that almost looks, I'm sure, to the pet owner like a miracle.
It does, and having just started acupuncture, didn't know what to expect. But the owner was very grateful and very happy, and I think she felt like it really did help the kitten quite a bit. So we were really excited about that.
Well, obviously, acupuncture does relieve pain in pets. What signs of pain should owners look for?
probably the most common sign that people will see is they will say, oh, my pet's just getting older. They don't want to do what they used to do. They're a little slow getting up in the mornings. They don't want to jump into the car. They don't chase after the ball for as long. And those are all things that we can help with, whether it's acupuncture or sometimes it's use of different types of medications, nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories or opioid type medications. But they have found acupuncture really helps with that as well. But again, I think a lot of the dogs and cats are very, very subtle about pain, cats especially. So it may be that you notice your cat isn't jumping up on counters or on chairs or things like that, or they just don't play as much as they used to, sleep more, that kind of thing. So those are some signs that people should really watch for and not just chalk it up to aging.
Sure.
Those are things we can help.
And so there is a difference between dogs and cats with regards to showing pain, as an example.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Cats do tend to be more stoic than dogs, although dogs will hide that pain pretty well too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cold weather, I know, can bring out arthritis and pain in many people. Is it the same for pets?
Absolutely. The cold weather, especially for your pets that spend a lot of time outdoors, and you'll notice the same thing. They're not, it may take them a while to kind of get going in the morning. They may be a little stiff when they walk. You may notice they walk differently or have their back hunched. But just like people, cold can really affect animals. You'll notice them looking for warm places more often.
Or they may not be as active. They may not
Right.
want to walk as much.
Exactly.
I can imagine.
Exactly.
So, what can be done to help? You mentioned earlier there's some things, medications and whatever. In other words, owners should react when they see these signs, should they not?
They should. And again, I think a lot of people don't recognize the symptoms, and that's something that we want them to be aware of, because again, these are things that you can help. This isn't just a normal aging process. These are things where if we get on it, and especially early, the key is to really get started early with your preventative medicine. Right. And that will make them, it'll give them longer, happier, more comfortable lives.
Well, and it's, they can't talk to us.
Right.
We often say that, I wish I could read my dog's mind or my cat's mind, but they can't talk to us. They can't tell us what's going on, so
Right.
too bad.
Right.
Switching the focus a little bit, I read where there has been an increase, and I have trouble saying this word, leptospirosis.
Perfect. You got it.
Is that right?
That's perfect.
Wow.
Yes.
In the United States. What
Yes.
is this?
Leptospirosis is a bacterium, and there are many different, we call them serovars of leptospirosis. So there's a lot of vaccines will carry some of those different types of serovars, but leptospirosis is something that we can all get. So dogs and cats can get it, wildlife carry it, humans can get it. What it does is it attacks certain parts of the body. It likes the kidneys, it likes the liver, it'll go for the heart, inside the blood vessels. So when you get it, if it's not treated, if they get very sick, if it's not treated right away, it can cause death. And it's very common we used to tell people, if you have a hunting dog, something that's out there, they're out and running around, they're coming in contact with different water sources, they're at higher risk. But they've actually found that there's a higher percentage in dogs that live inside of city limits.
Oh, is that right?
That's right, as opposed to dogs out
Why
in the
is
country.
that?
They think it's because there are dogs who get it who don't show symptoms, or they get symptoms and then they get over it, but they still shed the disease. And there's a higher concentration of dogs and squirrels and rodents and things inside
in neighborhoods.
Exactly, in neighborhoods. So a lot of these dogs will get it from other dogs or from their backyard, from animals running through their backyard.
Is this happening in Missouri?
It is, and in fact, my understanding is that it's not only Missouri, but nationwide. We typically see it more in your rainy months. So we're going to see it more in the summertime here. But anytime you have a good rain that can form pools of water, that's where it's going to stay. And they've actually found that leptospirosis can remain in damp soil for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Or longer. So any standing water, any area that has soil that stays damp, or again, anytime we get a good rain and washes through the yard, and then you have your dog out running around out there or drinking from the puddles or licking their feet off, then they're at risk for getting leptospirosis.
There's a vaccination for it?
There are many vaccines for it, actually,
Okay.
and they're coming up with new ones all the time because we're finding new serovars all the time. So a lot of
What does that mean?
So a serovar is the different types of leptospirosis.
Oh, okay.
So it has, it's like a leptospirosis family, and all the children are different serovars.
Gotcha.
So some serovars don't cause as serious disease as others. So a lot of vaccines will pinpoint the disease, the ones that cause the serious disease. But a lot of vaccines will have at least 4 serovars in them. And it's important that dogs that are at high risk need to be vaccinated once a year to prevent it. I actually heard that in Puerto Rico, after the hurricane and everything, yes, they were very worried about leptospirosis down there because of all the standing water and all the unhygienic conditions and things like that. And then I recently heard that there were 6 puppies that were brought over from Puerto Rico that were carrying leptospirosis.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah.
What we just have a few seconds before the break, but what vaccines do dogs and cats in our area should have?
What we call the core vaccines are going to be rabies vaccine is a core vaccine because that's something we can get, and it can be carried by bats, and bats can get into your homes. So
yes,
amongst other animals. Distemper and parvo, a lot of people call it the 5-way, the 7-way vaccine, but the distemper and the parvovirus are the core parts of those vaccines. That's a core vaccine that pets should get because distemper and parvovirus both can kill pets. And then now they're thinking about making leptospirosis a core vaccine as well.
So there are a number of vaccines that animals should be receiving on a yearly basis. We're going to talk about other issues, dental issues. We're going to talk about food. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Debbie Hamler with the Special Learning Center, one of the local United Way of Central Missouri member agencies. The mission of the Special Learning Center is to provide comprehensive early intervention services to children with special needs so they may attain their maximum potential. We serve over 500 children a year through our Special Learning Center center-based program, our outreach therapy program, Crayon Kids, our licensed child care program for children with and without disabilities, and our Capable Kids and Family program. We provide services for the Missouri First Steps program by providing occupational, physical, and speech therapy, as well as special instruction in the child's natural environment. Our staff believe in sensory-based therapies, and we also use a total communication approach for language development. We've served children from 20 public school districts and 11 counties. We're a license plate partner with the Children's Trust Fund, so get your personalized plate today. We receive funding through Cole County Special Services, our Senate Bill 40 board. Our Special Learning Center Foundation provides financial support to our programs on a yearly basis, and we rely heavily on the generosity of our community through donations and fundraiser support. Grants of various kinds support our programs each year. You can find our website at www.speciallearningcenter.com for current activities, and we're also on Facebook under the Special Learning Center. We try to be a resource for people with disabilities in our community. If you have questions or a need, call us at 634-3070 and we will help.
Welcome back. My guest, as I mentioned earlier, is Dr. Jill Brady. You know, Jill, one thing that we've never talked about is pet insurance. Is there such a thing, and how does that work?
There is. Pet insurance is offered by quite a few companies now, and I understand some people can get that as a benefit through their work. But there's probably 3 or 4 main companies that I have dealt with the pet insurance, and what it typically involves is it's going to cover the things that you don't plan for. Some insurances will offer benefits to help cover, routine dental cleanings, vaccines and things like that, but it really comes into play for the things that you don't expect. So that could be anything from an ear infection to a urinary tract infection, to, heaven forbid, your dog or cat being hit by a car, and it covers quite a bit of the cost. I would say right now, probably about maybe 3 or 4% of our clientele have pet insurance, but everyone that I know of that has it loves it and uses it and are glad that they have it. And I've started talking to my clients who come in with puppies and kittens about it, because that's the best time to start it. The things it doesn't cover are anything that would be hereditary. For instance, hip dysplasia in German Shepherds is something where they would say, sorry, we can't control, we can't cover that because that's something that is
generic disease.
Yes, it's common in that particular breed, exactly. But, again, allergies. We see so many pets with skin allergies, and it covers a good part of that. And in fact, we believe in it so much that we offer it to, or we actually provide it for our staff members for their pets, because we want them to be able to use it if they need it, but also be able to talk to people intelligently about why it's important and what it does.
Yeah. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. My guest today is Dr. Jill Brady. Jill is a veterinarian at Westside Veterinary Clinic here in Jefferson City. And Jill, once again, thanks for joining me. We've talked many times about many subjects, but I don't know that we've talked about pet foods. Maybe we have, but there's so many choices. And depending on, as I move around my neighborhood and talk to my neighbors, all of which have pets, we laugh about the fact that there are so many varieties.
Right.
You see all kinds. How do viewers make the best choice?
Well, I think the best way to make the best choice is to talk to your veterinarian.
Okay.
They are most equipped to tell you what products are good, but most importantly, what product your pet in particular needs.
It's a matching, isn't
because
it?
it's a matching, exactly. Yeah. And also, your needs change throughout your life, just like for people. For pets, what you need as a puppy is completely different from what you need as an adult and from what you need as a geriatric pet. So it's very important and we tend to get a lot of advice when you go to the pet store and you ask, well, is this food any good? Is this food any good? And nothing against the people who work there, but they don't know your pet and they don't know what your pet's needs are. So I think the most important thing I would tell somebody is talk to your veterinarian before you decide on a pet food, or go by their recommendation.
So it's really kind of a 3-stage from what you just said. As a puppy, you can tell I have a dog. But as a puppy, as an adult, and then in the older years, the geriatric years.
Yes, I would say those are the 3 big categories. And then, of course, if there's any specific problems that your pet may have or needs that your pet may have, for instance, kidney problems or heart problems, or liver problems, or if they have special other nutritional needs. For instance, very active dogs that are hunting dogs would need more than a dog who's a little more sedentary and stays at home. So so there are definitely those 3 big life stages, and then there's a lot of little stages in there too.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Are there brands that you would recommend?
I would say
someone in your position?
I would say there are certain brands that do the research. And by that, what I mean is they have veterinarians on staff and they look at different diseases and they look at what a pet needs. For instance, how much protein, what percentage of the dog food is protein-wise they need to have for a certain condition. And they do research on it. And there are very few companies who actually do the research. One is Hills. They do the Science Diet foods. Another is Royal Canin, and another one is Purina. The rest of the ones out there piggyback off of them. But the problem is what they do is they look at the percentages that are on the bags, but it doesn't tell you exactly what that particular pet food might need. So again, those are the three companies where I feel like they have the research to back up what they put in their foods. I think don't get me wrong, I think there are a lot of pet brands out there who have great ingredients, who want to do good things, but they don't have the research to back it up.
Yeah. You know, I never thought of that. That would be an important ingredient with regards to feeding your pet, and that is having research done as to what is necessary.
Right, what is necessary. And those companies also are very good at keeping in touch with us with their research. You know, what they find, when things change. They're very good at coming to us and letting us know if they're changing something or if they found something better or different. And they come out with new diets all the time.
Right. And I'm not sure this is a good question, but what's the number one thing that a pet owner should look for in making a decision with regards to pet food?
I think, again, I would talk to your veterinarian.
Okay.
Because it's going to be very individually, it's going to depend on your pet. So it's having that resource really is invaluable.
Many people think that pet food type doesn't really matter as long as their pet eats it, but it is important about the ingredients, is it not?
It really is important. Right now, there's been a lot of hype about the grain-free. Because of what's going on in human medicine, so many people with celiac disease and sensitivity to wheat and things like that. So there's a big push in the veterinary market also to go to grain-free. And I don't think, I know pets that are allergic to grains, I know pets that aren't. I don't think that is such a big deal. And palatability is important. You want your pet to eat the food. I think one other thing that I've started to get away from a little bit is we tend to feed pets a lot of dry food for convenience reasons, and I'm guilty of that myself. But I think what we've found is a lot of pets, cats in particular, but dogs too, really need a little more than that sometimes. Right. And whether that's adding some canned food every day, I think especially for cats, they really need that added moisture that they don't get.
Well, it's always amazing when we get together as to what we talk about and all of the information that you provide. One of the things that I know I changed Gretchen's food was because of her dental health. Does the pet food affect the dental health?
It does. And that's changed a lot recently as far as what we recommend for dental health and what we recommend for pet foods as well. When we think about it, dogs and cats used to forage for food, hunt for food. And when they would get something, they would eat it whole. They would eat bones and all. And that cleaned their teeth. The bones were softer because they weren't cooked. So it wasn't quite as big a deal. Of course, now we don't recommend giving dogs and cats bones, and we thought, well, this dry kibble is the next best thing. They bite into it, it scrapes their teeth, it cleans them off. And we've since found that actually what happens is a lot of dogs and cats don't even chew their food. They put it in their mouths and they swallow it. So they get zero benefit from the food as far as cleaning their teeth. So they've been coming out with some diets that have kibble that is bigger and slightly softer, so when they bite into it, their teeth sink down into it, and they actually do get some benefit from that. Because whatever help we can get is good, because dental disease is probably the #1 disease that we see.
And you know, you and I have talked before how dangerous it is to an animal. It can cause heart problems, it can cause all kinds of things. What can owners do to increase their pets' dental health?
Again, food, sometimes diet will help. Also, they're coming out with really good treats as well. CET has rawhides that have enzymes in them. Oravet came out with a really nice chew that my dog loves. That's a softer type chew that they have to kind of sink their teeth into. So treats help. what I've found is the best is to start when they're young and start talking about brushing their teeth. That is really what I found the most effective way. And I think if you talk to most of the dental specialists, they will say the same thing, to prevent that tartar from building on their teeth. And it can be done pretty easily. If you start with when they're puppies or kittens, but even when they're adults, if you find a toothpaste that they like, and you don't want to use the human toothpaste because it has fluoride in it and
Right.
they swallow it, and that can make them sick to their stomachs. But find a toothpaste that they like. I found dogs really love the poultry flavor, cats a lot of times like the tuna flavor, and just start by letting them lick it off your finger. Make it a treat that they get once a day. And then what you can do is get your toothbrush out, and you can use children's toothbrushes for the smaller dogs. They make pet toothbrushes. I don't care for the finger brush because the bristles are too small, but and then just take that toothpaste and just really push it down into the bristles, and then let them just chew on the toothbrush. Lick the toothbrush, get used to having it in their mouth, and just do that once a day. What I found with my own dog was eventually she started brushing her own teeth. I would just put the toothpaste on, hold the toothbrush out, and she would chew on one side, and I would turn it around, and she would chew on the other side. And
That's amazing. I had no idea, because to be honest with you, it's something that I did not do as Gretchen was a puppy. And I regret it now because she has had some dental problems. But I love the direction you just gave, because it's simpler than trying to brush their teeth. Let them brush them themselves.
Let them brush their own teeth. Some dogs, and cats especially, like to feel like it's their own idea. And they want it to be, you want it to be something that they look forward to. And this way you can make it something that they feel like they're in control of, but you can do just as good a job with it. In fact, sometimes better.
Are there signs that that a pet is having some dental problems?
Sure. Odor, I think, is probably the #1 complaint I hear from clients. They say, boy, I've noticed the breath odor has really changed. It's not good. But certainly you can watch for anything from odor to dropping kibble when they eat. Sometimes if they're eating and you see kibble fall out of their mouths, or sometimes pawing at their faces. And I encourage people to lift the lip. Take a look at those teeth. Take a look at the gums. If you see that brown build up on their teeth, or their gums look dark red, then that's telling you that there's something wrong in there.
Well, I tell you what, it's amazing what we can learn as we talk to our vet. And as Dr. Brady mentioned, please consult your veterinarian when you think there are issues with your pets, because they're the pros. They're the ones that know. Jill, it's always a pleasure for us to get together, and
thanks for having me,
for our chatting. And I look forward to seeing and us chatting again next time. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope all is well. Good night, and God bless.